there was a two-book standard at Harvard. The two-book standard meant that staff were expected to have published two books proving their expertise in a subject area. The two-book standard would be shelved in the late 1990s when we were under increasing pressure to hire more women faculty. Feminist activists at Harvard, as elsewhere, were demanding that half of all new appointments be women. That, they claimed, was what liberal standards of equality required. So, I guess when thinking about diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, do you think this is something that we can mend or something we have to end? Is there any way that we can have more inclusive environments without DEI? I mean, how do you see DEI within contemporary higher education?
Well, DEI is a later uh, phenomenon. What was the reigning philosophy of Harvard in this period was multiculturalism.
Mm.
Uh, the two-book standard was what I was told when I got into the department. Actually, everyone told me that I would never get tenure because no one got tenure. But if you wanted to get tenure, you have to write two books, one of which is your dissertation, and the other is a major book of some kind, a field-changing book. That was the word people used. And that standard was openly acknowledged in department meetings, but there just weren't enough women, right? At that time, the history profession was about 10% female at most. The recent PhDs coming out were 10% women. And in the cohorts where we hire at Harvard, which is usually hired mid-career from outside, there are even fewer women in that. We happen to get a wonderful female historian, by the way, named Laurel Ulrich, who I like very much and wrote wonderful history. But that's because we're Harvard. We can afford the best. But the idea that we're going to hire 50% women when the cohort of available PhDs is 10% means automatically you're going to lower standards, right? It's mathematically impossible not to lower standards. Because until that time, there were wiser heads that prevailed in the central administration that were protective of the university's reputation. That's what they cared about, excellence. And when I got to Harvard first in 1985, that's something that struck me immediately, that people at Harvard wanted to be the best, right? I came from Columbia, which is a great university, had wonderful people in it, but I never got this sense that we have to be the best. And when I got to Harvard, every faculty meeting was worrying about this, right? We're number 3. And how could we possibly be number 3? We have to be number 1. And the university, Derek Bach was determined to be number 1. But when this whole movement to have equality among the different protected, categories took off in the late 90s, that's when enough people in the university administration said, no, our primary goal now is not excellence, but diversity. But the overall quality of the university has gone down dramatically.
So let's continue the exploration of ideological capture. The Department of Education, under Section 117 of the Higher Education Act, they recently released their aggregate reporting of foreign gifts and contributions to American universities. Harvard University, perhaps unsurprisingly, was the top recipient of foreign donations and foreign gifts. I'm curious, to what extent, if any, does foreign contributions shape the decisions made by Harvard University?
What happened, well, one of the things I can tell you that's actually a well-known story is when they started getting lots of money from China and India in the second decade of the 21st century, they suddenly realized that they could do without the Wall Street fundraising machine, which they had relied up to that point. And that was what protected the final clubs. The university administration has always hated final clubs. They don't like them because they're outside the control of the university. They're private, they're privately funded, and the university administrators have always disliked them. But now they saw a chance to get rid of them because they could get money from abroad. They could get money from the Chinese and Indian. So basically, Drew Faust and her friends in the diversity apparatus started creating a war on the final clubs. And I was at a dinner party one time when I informed a member of the university administration that there were also female final clubs, and they were absolutely astonished to hear this. They weren't aware that there were also women who wanted to have, I think single sex, they call them single sex social clubs. And that's what they disliked about them, because everybody has to, there can't be any distinctions. So that was one result of taking money from abroad, is that they were less tied to American donors and to Wall Street and to their own alumni. And that's a bad thing, I think.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want to see a particular topic addressed, make sure to put it down in the comments, and feel free to keep the conversation going through all of your questions or yellings or rants. Find me on social media. Just type in Shabbos Kestenbaum. You're not going to find many other Shabbos Kestenbaums, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you all very soon.